What's cracking, everybody? Zerfel Rose here with Maggie, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. And I'm not going to lie, I wasn't even going to make this video. I wasn't going to play these last 2 weeks, but I got sucked into the rabbit hole of Little Cup. And so I took 3 things that I happen to have laying around. I built a team, and I'm trying to make the 300,000 Stardust back that I used to build this team. Now, to its merit, this team is extremely strong. It's probably the best Element Cup team. I've had several of my patrons hit either legend or their personal best with this team so far this season. So shout outs to them and all the hard work that they've been putting in to get better and getting their new personal bests. And if you'd like to join the patron Discord, there is a link in the description that you can click and follow. And I also offer Pokemon Go PvP coaching if you'd like to look into that. Metafy link in the description. Let's check out these battles because I've been shilling myself for a little bit too long. So here we go. We're going to get into the first battle. And so the way that you play this team, ladies and gentlemen, is you put the Seal in the lead and you safe swap the Dewpider in literally any situation that Seal is not the good lead. So in this situation, we see Chikorita, we get out and we draw out Vulpix. Now, the entire purpose of the Dewpider here is to pull out either the Slugma or other fire type that will allow Vulpix to basically sweep with shields. That's kind of what we're hoping to accomplish here with this team. And you're going to see that pretty much all of these games are going to come to that same exact purpose. Now, Dewpider is here really just to wear down the opponent, try and make them want to shield their fire types, because that's what you're going to want to bring in typically to the Dewpider when your opponent has one out. You just think, oh, it's got, you know, Bug Bite, I'll just bring out my fire type. And Dewpider flips the Vulpix and gives me switch, which is what I needed in this game because there was a Chikorita on the lead. And the opponent has a Slowpoke in the back, which means now Seal comes into the Slowpoke. And when they come back in with their Chikorita, my Vulpix is rearing and ready to go. And my opponent, I don't think their switch clock was up yet because they haven't swapped out of this horrible lead. I'm going to no-shield and save my shield for my my Vulpix. Now, what I should have done was thrown the Icy Wind. That would have allowed me to probably no-shield at least one more move, but that's okay. Vulpix can easily tank this, get to 3 moves, and then I'm just going to need to do my best here. Now, in hindsight, yeah, that was the better play. It was definitely throwing that Icy Wind to get a shield off of the Chikorita because 2 Weather Balls then would just basically take out. Hello. You're so cute. So I have to shield up this Body Slam, and I think that my opponent is going to get to another move before I'm going to be able to get to another one, and yep, there it is. So I am going to probably lose this game. We'll see. The Body Slam does KO the Vulpix. I'm going to throw off this Icy Wind here, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to be able to KO me. So I am almost certain in hindsight that had I thrown that Icy Wind in the first place, Vulpix would have easily been able to take out that Chikorita, and then the Slowpoke in the back was really just nonsensical. It was going to be easy for Seal to probably lick the rest of it down. So Rowlet, this is a sign of the Yonkus team. Yonkus. I don't know how to say his name off the top of my head. But respects to him for making a strong team, and thankfully this team, when working correctly, beats it. So we use Dewpider, doing exactly what Dewpider does. It's going to pull out the Slugma, and it's going to get a shield off the Slugma, and then it's going to die to the Slugma. But that's okay, because even though Seal has to come in against this, it's the opponent's Slugma is debuffed, and Seal is going to be able to just lick all the way down. And the opponent goes for Flame Charge. That's okay. They're not going to get to a second move. Those licks go quickly. And now Seal has energy against this Pokemon that's going to come in, which is going to be the Rowlet. Which means if the opponent comes in with the Rowlet, they have to shield it. Which means they have no shields left. And I just happen to note from checking out the Yonkus video that he has a Vulpix in the back of that team. So I'm going to swap in my Vulpix and up 2 shields. My Vulpix would trounce any other Vulpix that comes in. I'm over farming here because I don't want to end up getting my Weather Ball caught on a resisted Vulpix. So my opponent goes for the Seed Bomb here and then quick swaps in their Vulpix, and that is their deadly mistake, as I have 2 Body Slams loaded, and both of them are all I need to KO the opponent's Shadow Vulpix. And speaking of Shadow Vulpix, you could definitely put Shadow Vulpix in on this team. So let's talk about the team for just a minute, right? Each Pokemon individually. Seal, pretty much a staple at this point of Little Cups from what I understand. Now, this is my first Little Cup I'm participating in, so I'm no expert, but I know from previous engagements, so to speak, that seal is pretty much a staple in Little Cup. So you want to make sure you put this thing into, like, you know, put 3 moves on this thing, right? You want to put the second charge move on it. And once again, we've got Dewpider in the lead. I'm swapping out immediately. Don't care to play this matchup out, because now if they have a Slugma in the back, I'm going to pull it out right away. That's the whole point. You don't see Slugma in the front, swap to pull it out from the back. That's it. Once the Slugma's gone, Vulpix is free. And speaking of Vulpix, Vulpix is also another sort of a staple in the Little Cup, so that's another one that's going to be worth putting your Stardust into. Now, Dewpider is a newer one that we've got, obviously, from this this past season. Not this season, but the season prior. Yes. She's so weird. So Dewpider, I think that from its play, I think that Mirror Coat has play. I think that if you're going to play the Little Cups in the long term, I do think that this is absolutely worth the investment of the Stardust. And I think that you could definitely do that. Now, there are some things in this, you know, I think that when I'm putting this team together, I would say you could definitely say, I'm just going to put 1 move on the Dewpider, and that's also okay too. If you're going to run it with a single move to save some Stardust, maybe you just put Bubble Beam on it and call it a day. But the other version of this team that we were playing before I threw the Vulpix, and I personally chose the Vulpix, but Litwick is also an excellent choice to go in here over the Vulpix, because it has that ghost typing. It hard answers Dewpider, however, it kind of gets boned by Seal. So you have to really kind of pick and choose your wins and losses there. And Seabiscuit over here decided she wants to be a horse, so she's definitely none of the above. My wife is having a giggle fit over there. It's so funny. Yeah, you're happy, aren't you? You're just like these wee little Pokemon here, little babies. Your CP is way lower than 500, though, my dear. You gotta wait a little bit longer. Anyway, so the Vulpix face-off here. I'm gonna let my Vulpix go, even though I've got a shield. I just need to come in and get to a couple of charge moves here, and try not to get rocked away. This is like riding on one of those bulls at the bars, just little mechanical bulls. My Seal with a shield and up energy is easily going to be able to take care of the opponent's shield.
If you're not careful, she's gonna hit you in the chin.
Oh no, it's alright. I don't watch her on the camera. She's good. So I'm just going to shield here. I do have a move. Actually, I'm not going to shield here because I don't care. Apparently, I know this isn't going to KO. In hindsight, I know this won't KO, so I know shield it. But technically that would have been a safe place to shield. I think I was just being a bit overconfident. Spoiler alert, I did win, but don't be overconfident if you're actually pushing Elo. Man, I need to hit the transition button, ma'am. Thank you. I can't hit it if you're throwing my mouse all over the place. Alright, there we go again. We've got a Slugma in the lead, so I know it's safe to keep alignment here. As long as I keep some semblance of alignment here, I do know that my Vulpix is going to be fine. And I also need to keep the Slugma off of my Dewpider, which is why I bring it in here. I'm going to go straight for the Mirror Coat. I need to go for, if not Switch, a huge energy advantage, and you just fell over. You're such a weirdo. I need to go for Switch and or a huge energy lead on my Vulpix, because I do know that a Body Slam does... I do know that a Body Slam does about, you know, 60-70% of a Slugma's HP. It's very, very squishy. So the opponent now brings in Wooper, and at this point, I mean, the alignment's as good as it's going to get, because Wooper, this whole team basically takes Vulpix and takes it out back and beats it with a stick. So I kind of have to stay in here and just going to do my best to get some sort of an energy advantage against the Slugma, or shield advantage, because I can get to 2 Body Slams before they get to take me out with the Rock Slides. So as long as I can completely, you know, keep my opponent from having 2-to-1 shields like they have right now, we'll be good. You fall over. What? You're weird. So there's the shield. My opponent brings in the Slugma, and now because they've done that, I can go for this Aqua Tail, and I'm going to either pull their final shield, or I'm going to be able to take this thing out. And they do shield, so now I'm going to come in with my Vulpix. I get to 1 Body Slam, and that's going to take out the Slugma before, or hopefully anyway. No, it's able to get to 1 charge move here. I have to shield it, even though I know it's is a Rock Slide. I was expecting a Flame Charge because they always like to bait you like that, but I think Rock Slide is actually the cheaper move anyway. So Rock Slide comes through, I shield it. Body Slam is going to go through. Now I just need to get to this move, but unfortunately my opponent is going to have enough energy to get to a move before I'm going to be able to get to one. And that Body Slam is going to KO my Vulpix. And now, is Seal going to be able to get to an Aqua Tail here? No, unfortunately, because Wooper is so darn spammy. 4 Mud Shots to a Body Slam, as if that's fair and balanced, right? It's good enough. But anyway, my opponent is able to take that one, so well played to them. Very good. And overall, I think I've climbed back up into the mid-2900s after tanking a bit. I didn't really want to deal with the queue times anymore, so I said screw it. And I went down to about 2,700, and then picked this team up and went right back up to 2,900. And Maggie also agrees. She thinks it's a very good team. It's so good. Yes, it's so good. It's also a very obvious BBML sort of meta team. It's not like it's the original creation. Like I cooked it up in the Discord with the patrons, but it was already out there before we had used it. So it wasn't like this meta is super huge and has a really unique team to it or anything. Like this is kind of an obvious pick, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with obvious as long as it works, right? So Dewpider in here flexing with that farm down, has a huge amount of energy stored for this Spheal that comes back in, and Spheal I think has the Body Slam, but it's also got Water Gun, and it's a Shadow. So I'm in a very advantageous position here. My opponent comes in with a Vulpix, and I just go for the Bubble Beam. I already have a really strong alignment here. Seal basically is my win condition at this point, especially now that they've gone and shielded. Now I'm gonna let this go. I think I might try to go for the Bubble Beam here. No, I do let it go. And because they went for Body Slam, I live it. Now, if you are in this position, and unless you're specifically trying to undercharge or have HP left over for a farm down, you want to go for Weather Ball, because Vulpix gets Stab on the Weather Ball, and therefore it will do more damage than the Body Slam. So only really use the Body Slam if the Weather Ball is resistant to the same energy, to the same base damage, but because of the fire typing, Weather Ball will do more damage. So gonna go for Body Slam here because their Vulpix would resist it now, and I'm gonna be forcing the shield off of my opponent. We see MP tie. I could no shield this if I want to, but I'm gonna put a little bit more stock in the spamminess of my Vulpix and just try and see if I can make something happen. But I go for a Weather Ball here because it's a neutral, and it will do slightly more damage than the Body Slam. I will go for the Weather Ball, and that will almost take out the Spheal, and then one quick attack will finish the job. And now I just need to get to a Body Slam, and that is going to take it. My opponent concedes the match knowing what's going to happen, and that is a good game. Very well played. Seal comes in against another Seal. So what I do in this is, you guessed it, swap immediately to Dewpider unless I'm playing this specific game in which I completely go against the one rule that I made for myself. So I think what I did here is I want to whittle down the Seal. I think I've changed my strategy since this. The strategy that I did before was I would whittle down their Seal to about the range of Body Slam and a couple quick attacks, let them throw their energy, and then dip out to Dewpider. But yeah, I've definitely changed the way I played this matchup. But right now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to take out their Seal and let Dewpider kind of do what it wants to do in the back. The opponent has already gotten debuffed, so I can just lick down here unless they have a couple moves stored, which if they do, good luck with the KO. Oh, that's a yawn. How are you so awake, but I'm not? And then Vulpix comes in, and even with Icy Wind debuffs, Aqua Tail is going to chunk quite a bit. And I am hoping to get a shield potentially here. And I do, which means Vulpix now comes in, and anything down a shield against Vulpix, even a Slugma, is not going to happen this time. Now, this is I have to be very careful here, though. This could have played out a lot differently had I been playing it the right way. And my opponent decides not to shield here, which means that I can go for the Body Slam and either KO or take the shield. But now I'm going to give some farm to the Vulpix in the back, which is not great. Now, had I played this out the way that I described to you earlier, my dear viewers, I would have pulled out their, most likely their Slugma right away with Dewpider. Would have probably either gotten a shield or almost flip switch. I mean, if your opponent knows what they're doing, the Slugma should be able to no shield through the Dewpider and live with just a fraction of like 2 HP. It should have very little health. So yeah, I'm forced to use my shields now with my Dupe Biter, and I'm going to go for the Bubble Beam here. And like I said, had I done this the right way, I would have pulled out the, most likely I would have pulled out their Slugma with the Dupe Biter and done exactly as we had done prior. I make a failed attempt at a catch here. My opponent's basically just going to take me out back at this point. Blow me up with weather balls. There's no way I don't think I win this game here. I think this is the one. Yep, that's it. That's it. There it is. Yep. That's okay though. I think this is where I started to really do it right. Oh, no, I did win that one with a fraction of my own health bar. That's funny. But would have been much cleaner, I think, if I'd done it the way normally. Now, the team that we have here has a Bulbasaur lead, and that is... Bulbasaur is absolutely horribly dangerous. Now, I'm going to, once again, pull out a Slugma with my Dupe Biter here, and then I'm going to come back in with Seal and hope to get a nice fat farm down. But this opponent actually does the smart thing and no shields, and I can't flip this because their IVs are just too good or something. So, if the opponent has a bad IV Slugma, you might be able to flip that with Dupe Biter, but I can't. And maybe if I had better IVs on my Dupe Biter, like I have... But it was essentially a swag approved Araquanid for Great League, so I don't have a super amazing Dupe Biter for Little Cup. But essentially, I'm forced now to stay in because the switch timer is not even close to being up yet. I'm forced to stay in, shield. Bulbasaur essentially is just an absolute menace, and now my Vulpix's shield down does not win this matchup at all. So I am just not in a good place right here. I think the only way that I could possibly win this game is if my Seal gets enough of a farm down and I get both shields off this Vulpix in order to get an Icy Wind off against the Bulbasaur, and just pray that that's going to be enough to KO it, which I'm pretty sure it won't. It's a non-stab Icy Wind, so we'll see how this plays out. I know that this last set was a 4-1 when I recorded it, so this might be the one loss that I had. And you know what? It's honestly, it's been a thing ever since I've been playing this entire cup. Is Bulbasaur lead is an absolute pain for this team. So you have to really maneuver your way around it. Now, there's no way. There is a way. Okay, there is a way. I have to bait them with the Aqua Tail and get the Icy Wind off. Let's see if this is the one where I do it, because I did do it in one of these games. This might be it. Oh, there's the bait and the switch, and we get the Icy Wind off. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pretty sure that KOs, and I was talking up a loss, but I think we just pulled a win out of here. And you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to hit the button. Because I haven't hit it the entire video, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to hit it again for the rest of the video. So, there you go. Alright. Seal into Dupe Biter. Once again, going to swap into the Dupe Biter to bring out their Slugma. And, what do you know? It's not a Slugma. It's actually an Oddish. Now, Oddish... you can go for the Mirror Coat to try and get the KO. What actually might be the better option here is to go straight for Bubble Beam. They won't shield it. And if they no-shield the Bubble Beam, you flip it. So now we get alignment, which is amazing. In this particular case, because it's Dupe Biter in the lead, it doesn't matter as much. But it's nice. Because I'm still able to get a Bubble Beam off against their Vulpix before going down. Which honestly is really huge, because it's a shield here. And now my Seal is going to come in, and my Seal is going to try and get an Aqua Tail off on their Vulpix before it swaps out and goes back to their Dupe Biter. And if they go to Dupe Biter, I'm going to throw an Icy Wind at it and come in with my Vulpix. The opponent not swapping out, so I make sure that I'm careful, and I throw my Aqua Tail in the middle of their Quick Attack, and I get their other shield. And now they come in with the Dupe Biter, and I'm just going to come in, use my Vulpix to the best of my ability, use no shields here, at least on this first Bubble Beam. I may use it on a later Bubble Beam. If you're not quick enough on the swap, you won't be able to get to a Weather Ball on the Dupe Biter before it gets a move. You basically have to get in on the Dupe Biter before it gets to its... Essentially, before it gets done with 3 Bug Bites. As soon as it gets to 3 Bug Bites, it's going to be able to outpace you to the first move. So, you got to be quick. And I wasn't quick. But, that's okay. I still have 2 shields, and I'm going to put it all into my Seal here, because Seal will easily be able to get to a move with 2 shields here and take this game for me, because that's what Seal does. So, we're going to be able to get to this Aqua Tail in just a moment here. Going to shield up this... what's probably body, yeah, seal up the Body Slam. And then we're going to get this Aqua Tail off. And that is going to be a good game. Very well played to my opponent. These are all, you know, this is a nice small meta. you're going to learn the matchups very quickly. It's very good for like things like team reading, being able to determine, you know, whether you need switch or whether you just need energy. Shadow Wooper, by the way, is a nightmare. This thing scares me because it does so well against me, but my opponent swaps in their Bulbasaur, and I'm going to go immediately for the Weather Ball, because they, if you're fast enough, they have to get up to 7 Vine Whips for the Sludge Bomb, just like Venusaur. It's 5 to a Seed Bomb, however, but I'm going to shield up because they shield up, because I'm expecting that they're going to want to go for a Sludge Bomb, which they do. And now I know that I can over farm by quite a bit here. Going to go up by a few more, and this is a bit quick. So I know that this is just a Seed Bomb, and I decide not to commit a shield here. And my opponent, taking advantage of the fact that they knew I was probably going to over farm and throw, so they just went for the chip damage, which is very smart by them. Especially knowing that it wins CMP. I didn't actually know Bulbasaur wins CMP. I don't know anything that wins CMP in this league, because I don't know the league at all. So, here comes the Wooper, and I'm going to be able to get a Body Slam off on this thing before it gets to farm me down. Are we doing this again? Are we really doing this again? Yeah, do it again. So they're going to farm me down. And then I'm going to come in with my Dewpider, because for the most part, Dewpider does very well here. It resists the Mud Shot damage, and Body Slams, while they do neutral, it's forcing them to throw a non-stab Body Slam. And the opponent then comes in with a Vulpix. I come back in with my Seal. I have a shield. I'm in pretty good position here, because as soon as they tank this this Aqua Tail, I'm going to be able to either farm the rest of the way down or take it out, honestly, right away. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to let my Seal go to town against the Wooper here, if it gets the chance to. But instead, what I've opted to do here, save the shield for Dewpider, just in case we need to. But I'm going to go for the Aqua Tail, not knowing if I'm going to get to the Icy Wind in time. So I'm going to throw the Aqua Tail, put it within just a little bit of HP, and then the Licks will be enough to simul KO with my Seal, and that is going to be a good game. Shadow Wooper in general is also scary. Very spammy, very dangerous because of all the fire types roaming around. And speaking of, we've got yet another Wooper. So, I do once again the thing I shouldn't be doing and staying in with my Seal. What I should be doing is I should be swapping immediately to Dewpider, because there's probably a Slugma in the back. Because I was playing on a day where everybody and their mother was playing Slugma. So, I go for Icy Wind here. In hindsight, once again, probably not the best thing to do, because I didn't want to force myself to be in a position where I have something locked in against, you know, a Slugma or something. But at the same time, though, I do remember the teams that have had Wooper so far, and none of them really had Slugma in the back. So I'm kind of just going off of the assumption here that they've got Dewpider and probably Vulpix in the back. So we're going to go on that. And my Vulpix was thankfully able to get a move off before. So I know that it's, again, 13, 13, 12 when it comes to the Bubble Beams from Bug Bites. So as long as I throw on 6 each time, I can sort of over farm and also at the same time throw before they're going to get to a move, which enables me to essentially do this. Go down right as I get to the Weather Ball. I've done it 3 or 4 times today as well, so just be cautious if you're over farming. Sometimes the one-turn moves work, sometimes they don't, and sometimes they just work too good. So Dewpider's going to take a Bubble Beam. The opponent's going to come in with their Wooper, and I'm kind of up against the wall here a bit. I mean, I do have my Seal, but they've got all 3 of their Pokemon alive, and they've got a Wooper. And you're tired. Yeah, you're tired. It's okay, so am I. It's what, almost 11 o'clock? We got to go to bed anyway soon. So I'm going to overload as much as I can. I'm going to just try and make a stand here, throw these Aqua Tails into the Wooper. They don't need the Wooper anymore, so they're just going to let it go. And then their Dewpider could come in and just finish me up here. Or their whole HP Vulpix. Now, I don't think that this game goes any differently if my Vulpix gets the move off. But I sure would have had a better shot. And it's just unfortunate that I let myself farm that high up. But the opponent is now throwing the game. Not really. But swapping into clear debuffs, I imagine, is what they're probably doing. They just better hope I don't get to another Bubble Beam. No, I don't get to another Bubble Beam. Very close. A lot closer than I think it needed to be, but still well played to my opponent. And anyway, unfortunately, we got to end the video on a loss, but I still did go on a good 4-1 run at the end of that. And I've had a lot of other 4-1s, 3-2s. I haven't, you know, I haven't had any really bad sets. I had like 1-4 where everybody was running Bulbasaur and Oddish, and it kind of beat me in the face. But anyway, that's my best Element Cup, Element Remix Little Cup team. There it is. There's the whole line. All right. Anyway, Maggie and I will bid you adieu, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.